Hello YZOS students! Now that you have revised your story using feedback that you've received, found awesome quotes and images to support your story, it's time to put all these elements together in your final website on Google Sites. And that's what we're going to look at as our final step. Let's start with the home page. The home page is going to set things up for your viewer so that they know what the subject is, who made it, and highlights important information. The main title will reflect the importance and/or impact of the subject. Don't forget to change a document name to match so that you don't lose it in your Google Drive, which can happen. For example, you don't want your title to just be the subject, the March on Washington. While that's accurate, is it engaging or as interesting as it could be? You don't want it to be too vague, like March. Does that really tell you anything about your subject? No. But you should include the importance or impact. For example, the March on Washington, Striding Towards Equality. That title explains the importance and the impact that the March on Washington had in its subtitle. The March on Washington, Supporting the Civil Rights Act. This one talks about its importance or what the march was trying to do. It's time to design your home page. So you're going to choose a header, the content that you add. You'll want to make sure that your image is important for effect. And it's easy enough to do because you can Google search it right there. And finally, you're going to add your names. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure I go to the right website. And this will be linked on Canvas. Once I've done that, it's going to bring me to a spot where it'll show me any site I've made before. I'm going to start a new site and I'm going to choose a blank one so that I can edit it as I would like. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change my title. Click on the pencil and I can edit it like you would any text. Now that I've typed in my title, I can go ahead and highlight it and hit select all and easily change the size, the font, or whatever I would like. And I can also use the blue on the side to make it appear as I would like to and have it fit the space better. I like that. So now that I've done that, I want to go to header type and I want to choose cover. This will allow me to put a picture in the back and have that be what people see when it's the whole name. So in this case, I'm going to do that. So I go back and go to change image. When I go to change image, it's going to allow me to upload from my camera roll or select an image. So I'm going to choose. You can choose gallery, but those aren't specific to my topic. If I have a URL of an image, I can use that. I can add things from my albums or from Google Drive. But what most of you will use and what I'm going to use is I'm going to go back and use this search part. Basically, you can do a Google image search whenever you want to when you're adding an image. So in this point, I am going to search up the March on Washington. When I'm done with my search, I want to show how many people were there. I think that's important, so I'm going to choose that image. I'm going to hit select, and now I've got a background image that matches. If I change my mind, I can just go to change image and select a different image and go. Now that we've created our home page, it's time to add our required pages. So we're going to take a quick tour of the editor by looking at Insert, Pages, and Themes. We're going to add our required pages of causes, description, effects, and sources. We're going to give you a few tips about editing in the pages, and if you want, you can add optional extra pages. Now that I've done my home page, I want to show you or give you a little bit of a tour of the editor itself. First, we have the insert. So if I look here, insert allows me to add a text box like I just did, images or embedded items if I have an embed code like for a document. Avoid using Google Drive because unless you share, that's going to make it so no one can see it and they'll see an empty box. It's got layouts that I can use and just fill in, which is very nice and time saving. You'll notice in our sample, we actually used some of these. It's got things like an image carousel if you want to do a series of images, a button for navigation to make it easy for the viewer to jump from page to page within your website. It's got a YouTube search and more. Pages is where we'll add pages in a minute. And themes allows you to change the look of your website. Let's say I'm not happy with this look. I can choose impression. I actually like this one against the black and white of the photograph. So I'm going to choose this, and it will change that for all pages. Now that we've shown you how easy it is to set up that part of your website, it's time to add our pages. So I'm going to hit New Page, and I'm going to put my required pages in. There's causes. I'm going to add description. And yes, you can change the names if you want to later. I'm going to add effects. And of course, my last page that I need to add, which is sources. Now that I've added each of these pages, I can go back in and edit it because I don't want to have this picture compete with my other pictures or text. So I'm going to click on it, I'm going to choose header type, and I'm going to switch to banner, which is more appropriate so that people focus on my story, my quotes, and the other images that I want to highlight. Now that's done. All my required pages are done, and if I choose to, I could add an optional page. If I double click on one, if you want to change the name here, you can edit it right now just like you would anything, and it will change it. You can also drag it into different order if you would like as well.